You've probably heard the promise of a digital dollar, right? This idea of money that lives on the internet, totally open for anyone to use. But behind that simple promise, there's a pretty big secret about who's really in control. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on stablecoins. Okay, so let's just start with this really simple idea. What if a dollar could live purely on the internet? I mean, something you could send to anyone, anywhere in the world, instantly, without ever needing a bank to sign off on it. What would that look like?
Well, that idea, that vision of a dollar built for the internet, that's the whole promise behind something called a stablecoin.
So what exactly is a stablecoin? It's basically a crypto asset that's designed to do just one thing: hold its value. It's pegged to a real-world currency, like the US dollar, so you get the global speed of crypto, but without all those wild, chaotic price swings. The whole idea is that for every single digital token out there, there's a real dollar sitting in a reserve somewhere backing it up. Okay, but wait a minute. How can you possibly trust a digital dollar that isn't issued by, a government? Well, the answer actually lies in the technology it's all built on. And that technology is, of course, the blockchain. Look, the easiest way to think about it is like a public accounting book, a digital ledger that's copied and shared across thousands of computers all over the world. And because no single person or company owns it, it's what we call decentralized. And that's the real magic here. Since everyone has a copy of the exact same secure ledger, you just don't need a bank or some other middleman to verify that you sent money to someone. The network itself does all the work for you.
The process itself is actually pretty straightforward. So you kick off a transaction. Then this global network of participants all check it to make sure it's legit. And once it's verified, boom, it's locked into that public ledger permanently and transparently for everyone to see.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The trust isn't placed in a company or some CEO you've never met. It's literally baked into the structure of the technology itself. The system is designed from the ground up to be trustworthy. Okay, but here's where the story takes a really interesting twist. Because for the biggest stablecoins out there, the story isn't quite that simple. There's a big, centralized secret hiding inside all of this decentralized tech. So, it makes you wonder, right? If the network is so decentralized, then who is actually in charge of creating and managing these digital dollars? And right here, this is the core contradiction we've been building to. On one hand, you've got the stablecoin transactions running on a decentralized network that nobody owns. But on the other hand, the coins themselves are often created and controlled by a single centralized company. That one company has the power to mint new tokens, destroy old ones, and even freeze the funds in your account. And the biggest, most well-known example of this is a stablecoin called Tether. You've probably heard of it. It is by far the most widely used stablecoin in the entire world. Now, take a look at this number, $100,000. Just let it sink in for a second. What do you think that represents?
So, what is that? Well, that is the minimum amount of money you need if you want to go directly to Tether, the company, and swap your digital tokens back into actual real-life US dollars.
And this is really the key point here. Getting your money back happens completely on the company's terms. You have to play by their rules. For most people, for you and me, you can't just go to Tether and ask for your dollars. Your access is totally controlled by that central issuer. So, you might be thinking, does it have to be this way? Does a digital dollar always have to rely on a traditional company? Well, not necessarily. There is another model out there.
The biggest exception to this whole centralized model is a stablecoin called DAI, and it is built completely differently, right from the ground up.
You see, DAI is issued and managed by something called a DAO. That stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Think of it this way. Instead of a private company calling all the shots, a DAO is governed by its community. The people who hold its special voting tokens are the ones who get to vote on all the rules of the system.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, it's night and day. With Tether, you have a private company in charge of everything, from making coins to setting all the rules. But with DAI, all those decisions get handed over to a community of token holders who vote, and the rules for things like getting your money back are written directly into the computer code for absolutely everyone to see.
So what do we got?
A centralized company or a decentralized community? Really, what this all boils down to is one single critical question, and it's all about trust.
And this is the most crucial point I want you to take away from all this. When you use a stablecoin, your trust isn't just in the fancy decentralized blockchain technology. It's also, and maybe even more so, in the people or the protocol that issues and governs the coin.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's put it all together. Stablecoins use amazing decentralized tech to move money around. That's true. But the most popular ones are still issued by old-school centralized companies. And that means the company, not the network, is the one calling the shots. So you have a choice. Do you place your trust in a company's leadership or in a community that's governed by code?
So in the end, the technology, the blockchain, it might be decentralized. But the real question you have to ask yourself is your trust decentralized? Where do you really choose to place it?